Okay, what's up everyone? It says I'm live. I just want to do a couple quick checks. How does my audio sound? Right now we have the I'm in my basement, as you can see, and the air conditioning is like running right now in the background. So I hope that's not too much of a distraction. Cool. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to hear my own feed so I can make sure everything sounds all right, but it sounds good. Is it echo? Okay, cool. Let me see if I can knock that out. Is there an echo now? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I'm gonna actually just put that down. I actually need to have that up. Cool. Well, if there's not an echo, let's go. If there's not an echo, then we can kind of just get on the move. What's up, everybody? Happy weekend. It is a Sunday night. I appreciate you guys staying up a little bit later, wherever you are right now. My name is Joshua Martin. If you don't follow me, I'm a filmmaker, content creator for Moment, as well as I make projects on my own. And we're going to be talking about the color grade for my most recent music video that I shot and directed with SO. Don't hear an echo. Cool. My wife is on the chat too. Hey, baby. But yeah, so that's what we're going to kind of break down. And I just want to say straight up, guys, I am not at all a professional colorist. I color grade based on what I like, what the emotions trying to get out of it. And so I just know some basic tools, some basic structure to get to the look that I want. But mainly from this music video, the look that you saw and a lot of you guys really enjoyed was the a plugin that I used to achieve this look. So it was a combination of the lenses, the camera, how I treated my exposure, and then what I did in post. So it's all those things. It's obviously just not like a one-click wonder, drop a LUT and tweak. There's definitely a lot of tweaking kind of that I had to do. But of course, I made sure my exposure and the lenses that I was using definitely helped out to my end result that I really, really do like. So in case you didn't see the breakdown video, like the production breakdown, make sure to hop on to my channel. It's already up. It's like 20 minutes. My mom's in the chat too. Hey, Mom, you're going to go to sleep in a few minutes. I know it's late for you. But yeah, you can check out the production video breakdown on my channel, and you can watch some more behind the scenes and how all that went down. So, yo, what's up, everybody? If you're in the chat, let me know where you're coming from. Cool. I'm happy I'm doing this. I think this is where I had to kind of pivot a lot of my content now, because a lot of my time is with Moment. Obviously, that's my job, but I still do a lot of things on the side. And so trying to figure out, daddy life, husband life, extra content. So I think live streams might be where a lot of my new content on my personal channel will be. I see my boy Eric. Sub dude. All right, so let's actually just jump into sorry. I love reading the chat and then try to move on. I'm really bad at that. But we got New York in the house. We got Malaysia. That's what's up. Appreciate you. So yeah, we got Queens too. Dang, a lot of people from New York. I feel that. And then Eric repping Columbus right now. Eric and I went to school together and grew up together. He's my childhood friend, basically. And my wife is upstairs. We got George in the house too. That's what's up, y'all. All right, let's do this. We got 18 people watching. I'm hype. I am hype. It's been a long day though. My Eagles lost tier, but it was a good game for the most part. Well, bad game. Anyway, enough about football. We'll talk about football later. Let's get to what I want to kind of dive in based on my references, because that's where I kind of start with where I want to kind of collect inspiration from, ideas from, what other videos are out there. And definitely if you watch the video, the color grade does have a lot of like 16 mil film vibes due to the color, some of the grain that I applied to it. But I wasn't trying to necessarily achieve a 16 mil look. It obviously just kind of came out that way. I just tweaked again to what my eyes look like. So I'm actually going to share my screen right here. And let's see, how does the quality look, guys? I hope you're watching in 1080p because that's going to be the best way to kind of see my screen. Let me actually do this full screen to see my screen and everything. So this was kind of like a rough concept board. It was not really perfect. This is out of Milanote. Milanote is one of my favorite programs. This is not sponsored, but funny enough, we're going to get sponsored by them eventually on Moment's channel. But this has been a program I've been using for the last couple of years. My wife put me onto this, and I really like using it because I can just drop images and text, links, all that jazz. And so it's kind of a mess, but a lot of this was kind of like inspirational stills that I grabbed from different videos that I liked that he shared with me. So that is the artist who shared with me. And so I just dumped them in here. We kind of just dropped some notes here and there, but I didn't really go off of this. I just needed to just brain dump a lot of things. But a lot of the inspiration I will actually show you. Let's see if this pops up. So let's see. Let's go to, can you guys see that? Nope. Let me share. This is new. I'm using what's the thing called StreamYard. It's a really great streaming service. All right, let's go to share. Yeah, window. Cool. So I'm gonna share my back end of Instagram. So Dehancer, we're gonna get into the plugin later, but Dehancer Film, I did pull a lot of different types of ideas and the way people treat color with this program from their Instagram page. Definitely something to check out. I am in talks with them, so you might see later on this week that you can get a 10% discount code. Nothing kicked back to me, but I just want to be able to say, hey, this is a great program for you, for filmmakers and editors to use. It's a really great plugin, I think. And we're in talks of getting a discount code for all of y'all who want it. It is pretty pricey. It's like $350, but for the pro account, you get everything with it, and you'll see everything on the back end. But definitely really love somewhat what other artists are using to get some of these shots. And then another inspiration I used was Kodak Shoot Film. Obviously, this is where I just love Kodak colors, and you know they have 8 millimeter grain and then 16 mil film. Sorry, 8 mil film, 16 mil film, and 35, of course. And so I just kind of just look through here, save a lot of different images. And I just noticed how film, you know, when you try to recreate the film look in digital, you look for what are the highlights doing, what are the shadows doing, what is the skin tones are doing, and you just kind of base that off of that. And so this is what I like to do. I just go to my favorite film color grade and film profiles, and then I just kind of look, I just explore. And then based on what the storyline is for the project, this case, it was about, you know, love between a husband and wife. And so, and trying to bring a lot of the characteristics of his African background, Nigerian background. So those types of colors were definitely something I wanted to kind of bring out. Let me stop real quick. This is not the most graceful way of switching profiles. I can hear my daughter running around upstairs. She is supposed to be asleep. So let's go back real quick to my reference board. Another video I really liked, and I was trying to get an idea of like borders and what I'm going to be using for that, is this video here. If you haven't seen this short film, I highly recommend it. It's Guava Island. It was Childish Bambino and Rihanna. They did a short film, and I thought it was a really, I want to hear the music there. But, oh my gosh, can I pull this out? There we go. But I was just watching, of course, this was shot on Arri Alexa, but in the film itself, I was really enjoying the colors and just the way the reds look and all like that. So I just kept a lot of that in mind as I was grading this. And I also just like different characteristics of how this lens would flare. Like it had this unique, it looked like a smudge, but this unique little vertical flares coming in. I forget what lenses they were using, but I just kept all those little details in mind. And so, yeah, that was kind of like what I was aiming for in terms of the look. And then, of course, there's only so much planning you can do when you have all that going on. So what tends to happen is like when you get on set, you can plan as much as you can and definitely get the idea that you want. But when you get there, you kind of have to embrace the elements that you can't control. And a lot of times we did that. We shot at a basketball court. We shot in a record player store that I couldn't bring any lights, any real modifiers, just due to time and due to amount of crew and stuff. So I just embraced what was happening. All right, so let's actually just get into Davinci Resolve. This is where we want to dive in. So I did see one question. Dimitri asked, what lenses are you using right now? I'm using a couple of different lenses. So for this project, I use my Microprimes. Whoa. This does not have autofocus, but I was filming on the Zcam E2 F6. That's what this camera is right now. This is the 21 mil Micro Four Thirds. This is what I used for the majority of the shoot. I talk about the lenses in the production breakdown, so definitely watch that. Very small, compact. This is a Micro Four Thirds mount, but this can cover full frame. There is some distortion, but I like the little weirdness to my lenses. And yeah, I talk about a lot of that in the breakdown. So okay, here, let's go into Davinci Resolve right now. So right now you're just kind of seeing, I just pulled some clips down for different areas that we had shot. Basically, there's like 5 different scenes. So you got the basketball court scene. I can actually pull some more. The studio scene. Let me move this around. Studio scene, and then you have like the record player scene, and then the car scene. And so I could talk about all these little details and stuff, but yeah, so let's actually just dive in. Let's go to the color grade. So I think is like with this program, actually, before I jump into that, let me just talk about the workflow. So when you handle Zcam footage, a lot of you guys probably don't shoot Zcam. I know I have one person in the live right now who shoots Zcam. Shout out to you. Zcam is a very robust sensor, really great ProRes that comes out of this camera. I believe it's like a modification of the Panasonic sensors. I think I heard that a while ago. But anyway, so what I shot this with is 422 HQ. That's the highest, other than RAW in the camera, that's the highest ProRes you can get out of it. So it was 6K. It was a mix of 6K, 5K, and 4K. And you can kind of see the different resolution sizes. So this is 6K open gate. Let me close this here. So this is 6K open gate. This was 6K open gate as well. Open gate. This was a 5K 3.5, I believe. I think I have some metadata in here. Oh, this was 4K. This was 6K. So it was a lot of mixed media. This here was Ultra 4K. And the reason why I did that, the Micro Four Thirds lenses that I was using, some of them cover full frame and others didn't. So I just kind of just switched in between. I mean, it's not practical in most sets, but it was just me shooting. I was just a one-man band. So I kind of wanted the characters to be consistent with a wider lens versus a more telephoto lens. So that's why I kind of mixed my media, mixed my resolutions like that. So let's see. All right, so yeah, I was talking about Zcam footage. So yeah, I shot in Zlog. Zlog likes a lot more light to get the full 14-ish, 15 stops that it can retain. And as you can see here, if I can bring up let's just bring up the histogram. I'm a little underexposed. I'm definitely backlit here. But I think that's fine. There's still a lot of detail I can pull out. It did get a little crushed in here. I could have put some fill light in here a bit, but I didn't. So yeah, you can see my waveform down here to the right at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, I'm a little underexposed, but it's totally fine. So with the Zcam system, there's a couple of ways you can grade this. Let me actually just make a new node for the heck of it. Let's see, is Option S? Yeah, Option S. So Zcam has a great plugin, the Zlog color plugin, and look at that. It already, this profile, if I was just to leave like that and just like contrast, it looks great to me, right? And hopefully you guys can see this. Make sure in my chat, am I good? I'm good. Oh, we got some Zcam users in here. That's what's up. Yo, SO's in the building. What's up, my guy? Anyway, yeah. So right off the bat, right, this Zcam, the plugin does this what they call the ZRGB AX2. It's sort of mimicking the RE Rec 709 conversion, and that's the kind of color space it kind of puts it in. And so it looks great in my opinion. So that's one direction I start to go in. But then the problem was when I was building out my node tree. So in Davinci Resolve, if you haven't really dived into it, the way you kind of grade things, you can grade things just like everything on top of a clip. But if you want more control and more flexibility, you want to do a node tree. And basically nodes are just little panels that you can build and work individual, very targeted sections in your frame. And so basically, as I was building out these nodes, I started to do like a quick conversion in the front end. Normally you want to kind of like name these, but a quick conversion on the front end, then maybe like a white balance adjustment here. So I'll probably just go down to, I'll turn this down, and I noticed like the reds are a little, come on, parade. No? Parade doesn't want to work for me? What's up with the scopes? That's weird. Davinci, you failed me. Anyway, this is for example. So let's say if I wanted to kind of like tweak my white balance and whatnot, I would do that in the next node. And then I'll do my contrast and stuff after I do the next plugin, which would be the Dehancer plugin. And what I ran into when doing that, see here at the top, man, I wish I could punch in and zoom where you guys can see. Let me make this a little bit bigger. At the top right here, once you put in the once you put in the Dehancer Pro, they're on 4.0 right now, but I haven't got 4.0. But once you plug in that once you drop that into a node, it asks you what the source is. And so what I was doing, I was trying to convert, like choose a camera, because they don't have a profile for the Zcam system yet. And if they do, thanks. You should thank me, because I'm the one that's been putting that into their little back pocket there. But anyway, I would go to RE, right? And I'll go to like a mini and then log C. And that was trashing it, right? Obviously, because it's going to try to put another Rec 709 conversion LUT on top of what I already did. So that was a no-go. So let me actually start this over. So the next thing I tried to do was I went over here, and so you can see the S-Log2, that's the color input, right? So if you go down here, I believe there's an option where there's an RE. So it says RE Alexa C, right? Or REC log, right? So it'll just bring this into the C log. And immediately I noticed some problems again. So you can see at the bottom here at the right, my contrast in the log it just crushed it already. So when I try to go build in this profile, choosing the camera, going to RE, and then it still would crush my blacks way too early. And I was having that issue, if I try to bring it up, I just get some weird chroma, weird just colors already. So I was like, okay, that's a no-go. So I was trying to figure out how can I make this work. So now we'll dive more into the plugin. I just want to show you a quick workflow. Basically, I just left my log as is. And I, oddly enough, I don't know why I made a huge white balance correction on this first node. Don't know. But I'm going to just leave that as. And then I went ahead and went straight into the plugin. And already there's a massive difference. It still retained like all of the detail. I didn't crush any blacks. As you can see, I'm pointing at my screen. You can't even see what I'm talking about. But here at the bottom, you can see where I still have like all this latitude with my shadows still. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. So I can just treat my log as an RE log already. This plugin kind of reads it that way. So that's literally what I did. And then from there, I tweaked my saturation, and then I tweaked some contrast, and literally that's the look. That's the look I got. And let me back up. So like already I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And one of the things I was looking for was, what's the skin tone look like? Is it true to life? Not true to life to a certain extent, because I am going more of a creative approach. You can see this highlight is not blown. There's still a lot of detail there. Still detail in the shadows. Like it just looked good. It just straight up looked good to me. So that's what I kind of worked through, and that's how I did everything. I did a couple passes because SO was like, "Yo, bro, this looks kind of weird." I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm trying to work through it and stuff." So yeah, let me actually just go into the plugin itself, because this has a lot of juicy information that can be helpful. So before I do that, I just want to see if I miss anything. Okay, nope, nothing. You just boosted the Dehancer sales today, my G. Bet, I hope so. I mean, hey, it's a program I believe in. Like, it totally changed how I view my footage on Zlog, and it's wow, because I can get a super clean image out of Zlog. You can already see it like right off the bat with the Zlog plugin. But like, if I wanted something just straight up, have a different mood, have a different feel to emulate, and man, the emulations out of this program are so solid. So Alex, before you even purchase one, wait till I get the discount code so you get a little bit of help purchasing that. It should definitely come out this week, so stay tuned for that. All right, let me jump back in. All right, so this Dehancer plugin is pretty amazing. Oh, it looks like I was actually using the beta still on this. So anyway, let me just close all of these and we can go through each one for the heck of it. Like, I'm not going to act like I know everything in this plugin. I literally just straight up push and pull everything to see what it's doing. And so when you drop the plugin onto your footage, I believe they have it for Premiere and Assimilate. Final Cut Pro is coming soon, I believe, and then they have it for Davinci Resolve. All right, so this input, obviously you choose the camera that you're working with. They just updated the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro, so I need to kind of test some of that. I'm excited to see how that looks, but I really like how the Zcam handles this, even though there's no program for it, profile for it. Anyway, you can definitely tweak your stuff here. Let me make sure I'm on this node. Yeah. So, I can just tweak some exposure in here. You can kind of edit a little bit in here. There's some defringe options in here. Yeah, so you can do all of that in the beginning. But yeah, that's pretty straightforward. You find your input. Now here's the most fun and interesting part. They have a lot, and I mean a lot, of film stock emulators. And I'm like, I don't even know what any of this looks like. I don't even know like 5 off the top of my head what it looks like. Like CINE Still, 50D, 800D, 800T, Kodak, 400 Portra, 160. So I kind of know what those look like. But I was like, okay, what does all of this look like? Let me turn off. Let me go back to my node real quick. How's everybody doing? Am I blabbering? Are you learning something? I don't know. What's happening? I just started using Dehancer last week. Doe, what's up, Jeff, man? It's been a minute. We haven't chatted in a while. All right, so I just turned off. Let me just leave this profile as is, and I'm going to turn off this node so you can kind of see what's it doing over here. Can I drop this more? No. Let me just zoom in a little bit. All right. Ooh, what happened? What did I do? Okay, here we go. All right, yeah, so I'm not gonna rattle through all of them, but this was literally, I just sat here for a couple hours going through each and every profile and kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of like where that starts off as a base. Oh, I like where that starts off as a base. Actually, that's not a bad one either. It's not a bad base either. And that's literally what I did. Now, the funny thing with Cine Still, you know, the characteristic of Cine Still, you have those red halations, and you can actually affect halation. They have a halation tool here. And I don't really know how to use it yet, but you can kind of emulate that a little more accurately, which is nice. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff in here. Fuji colors, there's Kodak, there's Lumichrome, Polaroid, there's film I never heard of. Like, there's a lot of stuff. And so once you kind of like pick one, you can see it doesn't always look great right out the gate, although it has some black and white films as well. It doesn't look great right out the gate, which I'm glad, because again, I'm not looking for a LUT per se. I'm looking for a base where I can build from and then recreate in my own image. That's literally what I'm looking for. So I'm just trying, this is kind of take this as a starter. So that's the film, right? And I can kind of push and pull, but look how, what is this? Push pull EV. I don't know what that means, but you can kind of see it's almost like a, what's it doing? It's kind of tweaking my colors. So it's making to the right side a little more warm, here a little more green, blue-ish. So I can kind of tweak that. And then this gets a little bit more expansive. So now looking at my black point, my white point, you can set them in here. Typically you want to set them in Davinci Resolve on its own because you have a little more control. But if you like sliders, you know, there you go. You can kind of lift that, drop that, what have you. Print, I don't know what print means in this case. A lot of this language is film language. Like if you were to, you know, develop your footage, they're using a lot of that same language in the program. So a lot of you who already know how to do this will be like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. Me, I was like, I don't know what in the word print means. So let me just crank this. So you got exposure, obviously, that's an easy thing. Tonal contrast was an overall contrast slider. Color density, I did tweak this a little bit. And I kind of like to err on the heavier side of color density, just keep it more rich in this case, because I stayed away from saturation. I left saturation as is. And then you have some toggles. So you have some analog range limiter. Again, it looks like it's trying to condense more, you know. Let me make sure I'm not going too fast, because I can just keep rambling. And if there's anything like weird I had said, yeah. I've been waiting to buy, I'm trying to read some of you guys' comments. I've been waiting to buy Dehancer. I have been second guessing myself, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, again, if you guys are looking to actually buy this, just hold on. I'm gonna try to get that discount code this week so you guys can save a little bit of money. I mean, it's a little bit, but it's worth, you know, it's worth it. I think. I don't even use Davinci Resolve, but I want to use Dehancer. Take my money. You guys, it's so, I'm so glad you guys are hype on it, because I'm hype on this too. But yeah, this is so dope. Appreciate this a lot. Got an F6 about a month ago. Good choice. I love the F6. It is super flexible. You go Super 35. You can go Super 16. It's such a flexible sensor. It won't let you down. So yeah, there's expand and stuff like that. Just print. I already said that. All right, so we got color hedge. Like this is kind of, again, refers to like print. I kind of understand what's this going. So, you know, you can push your blues, your yellows, things like that. Pretty straightforward. A lot of this stuff, you know, you just kind of just tweak around. But here's some more interesting stuff. The grain, right? So there's not like a button where you can say, oh, 16 mil grain, 8 mil grain, 35 mil grain, right? You don't see that. You just have sliders. You have size, amount, film resolution, shadows, midtones, and all that. So what I tend to do, let me actually, oops, did I save this? I think I saved this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I like to see more of my grain a little bit more in the midtones for some reason. I don't know. I'm weird like that, I guess. But yeah, obviously you can, you know, change the film grain. But look how this film grain reacts. It doesn't feel fake, if that makes sense. It's hard to see. You guys are watching 1080p, but the one thing that helps it, so this resolution, oh sorry, the amount, but this slider here, film resolution, see how it kind of, if you go all the way to the left, it just gets really soft. That can play if you have a very sharp lens. This does a really good job of making you think that lens is kind of vintage. Now my lenses aren't quote unquote sharp, they have character. And wow, I just realized I've been on this image for a while, but I'll get through this pretty quick so we can see the other ones. So that's one way you kind of trick it to make it a softer, but it makes it feel organic. But if you want to retain your sharpness, you can just crank that. And I don't like that mix. I like to see a little bit more softness when you're adding grain, because that class of a sharp high-end lens and you're adding grain digitally, it just looks weird to me. It just doesn't gel to me. That's how I kind of see it. But anyway, straightforward film grain. You have a lot of control-ish here with sliders, at least. Halation, this is very interesting. This is probably the most advanced halation tool I've seen in a program. Source limiter, again, I had to kind of just play around, like, what does this all mean? What am I seeing? I see some smoothness. I don't see a lot. Local diffusion. It's hard to tell for me, global diffusion. I probably need a more stronger light source to see what's happening in this, but yeah, there you have it. So you have your control there, and then you have your bloom. Oh, go back. You have blooms here, and I think I just kind of crank these down a little bit because my lenses do bloom naturally already, and I can show you a clip where it just flares up. But again, you have bloom, vignetting. I didn't touch vignetting as much because, again, there was some vignetting in my lens already. And I thought that was fine because I was going to crop my open gate footage to 16:9 anyway. So I was going to crop a lot of that vignetting out. Film breathing was kind of nice to kind of toy around with to give some life, because, you know, you back in the day when I had film like templates that just kind of dropped on top of my footage, it didn't really move, or you couldn't control the movement. So that's the downside of like downloading high res grain filters. You kind of have to step and repeat those grain filters again and again, so the movement won't look weird. But you can kind of change the movement in here. You can how it breathes and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty awesome. Gate. Oops, I hit my mic. I don't know what that means. So again, you kind of. Oh, okay, yeah, you're changing the direction and rotation. So look at that. That's pretty cool. And then they have a built-in, what's gonna call it? False color. But Davinci Resolve has false color built in too. So, and then you can make your own LUT out of this. So you can export it, and there you have it. So that's literally all the stuff that's in here. I think there's some more updates that they made to it with the new 4.0, but yeah, let's actually move on to some more clips. And let me see what kind of questions you guys have, because I've been just rambling. Okay, okay, cool. Appreciate you guys still hanging on with me. Yeah, so yeah, this clip here, this was interesting too, because I didn't bring any extra lights. We did turn off the top lights to see what it looks like, but it didn't look good. So I was competing with the tungsten light that was in the room with a massive daylight window from the left side on this side, kind of pulling through. And for the most part, I just kind of embraced it. You kind of see how my lens was kind of flaring. There's a little interesting flare up here. And that's because of the MFT mount I was using. Since that mount doesn't cover full frame, it was blocking some of the lens. So when there was light hitting it, it would kind of diffract and refract differently. And I just embraced it. I can show another clip, like I said earlier, about what that looks like. So, going to the color grade and seeing how this kind of built out. Bring this over here. I don't need to see timeline. I don't need to see clips. And again, for some odd reason, okay, I see why. I think my white balance was slightly off, so I made it cooler as a base instead, just to kind of get things kind of even. And then I just dropped immediately what my Dehancer was doing. So actually, let's see what the Dehancer was doing with this. So again, input was Aries log C. I was using this color negative 125 as a base because I actually really like how it was treating the skin tone. And that, again, like I was saying earlier, like it's the feel that I was going for. Do the skin tones feel true to life, but also has a creative look to it. And creative look meaning you can add in more green, you can add in more blue, whatever that looks like. So I like what the negative 125 was doing. And then from there, like I just did micro adjustments. I don't know what I even did in here. Look, I didn't touch any of this. I just made all of my grain in the middle. Pretty simple, straightforward. I didn't touch halation. I left it at as default. Blooming, I probably didn't touch blooming. Left it at default. And then breathing, I did put everything to 10 just to get some life. So yeah, I didn't, look guys, I didn't do much other than when I added the my saturation. And how I do saturation, I did it basically with the slider down there. You can do saturation so many different ways in Davinci Resolve, but I just kind of boosted it with the slider. I was trying to see what this would look like with these greens. I was embracing this, you know, this greenish I was about to say Tuscan. The word just left my mind. It's late, y'all. Forgive me. Anyway, I was embracing what the color was doing in the background with whatever these top lights are doing. And I just added some add some contrast. And it looks like I didn't crush it. Oh, because there's this weird thing with Davinci. So, okay, pro tip and a slight segue. So if I go here to project set, when you open up a new project in Davinci Resolve, there's this weird little bug that it does that it shows you a different color profile when viewing footage than when you export it. Sort of similar to what Premiere Pro was doing for a while. It had that weird bug where you would think you're color grading one thing, but then it exports as a different thing. Davinci Resolve kind of does that. So if you open up your settings, if you're not using it, but here's something just to know, go to color management. And by default, I think it's like under, it's like a regular sRGB. Yeah, by default, it's going to be like sRGB. You want to change that to Rec 709 Gamma 0.2. Now, why? I have no idea, but that actually worked because before, if I save that back, see how it kind of lifted my contrast. It was kind of fast. Let me just go back one more time. So let's go here. I don't want to spend too much time doing this, but okay, if you can look to the screen over here. So that's with the correction on. And this is what it is when it's off. And you might say like, okay, that's not bad. But when you exported it, like your shadows were way higher. And the contrast is like, wait, I thought I added more contrast. So then you start to overcompensate. So I tried to look up different forums and they were saying, yeah, change it to Gamma, Rec 709, Gamma 2.4. And that gives you the correct contrast. So when you're editing, you get that same contrast when you export. And my contrast is a simple, I go into the S curve and I just bring down the blacks. I just want to concentrate on the blacks. Everything else looks fine. And it looks heavy. Like again, I think it looks great. I love the way this looks. The contrast across the board looks good. The color of his orange shirt looks good to me. Oops, let me go back. Yeah, all this looks good to me. Like, I just love the way this looks. Yeah, that's it. We got 30 minutes going on. Okay, I got a question. Do you use the Zcam auto white balance or do you set it manually? I believe this project, I use the auto white balance, the auto daylight. And I think it holds up pretty well. I do have a gray card with me on set all the time. So when right before we shoot, I just put the gray card in front of the camera and then let it read it. And then as soon as I hit record, it does that auto white balance lock. So it locks in that so it doesn't change. And then later on, if I want to change a little bit of that, then I can. That's what's so great about Zcam and the Zcam plugin and Zlog in general. It kind of acts like RAW, where you can change a lot of the parameters without damaging or breaking the footage. So yeah, so I use auto white balance and I make sure to just have a gray card on set. So whatever light I'm in, it can shoot it at that. And then it gets the most the most accurate it can be. Because a lot of times, again, as a running, like as a solo operator, I want to try to be as efficient as possible. So I don't want to have to worry about, oh, let me change my white balance. I can let the camera kind of do that and then adjust, because it stays within its margins. It doesn't go wild, especially if you have a great card on set. So yeah, cool. This one was tricky. Let me actually bring in some more clips because I can actually talk a little bit more about. Oh, I hear my daughter still crying. She's been having a tough time going to sleep lately. She's probably watching me on this live stream with mom. Let's go to. I do want to show. Hopefully, you guys don't hear that. I don't want to make something loud. Okay, yeah. Let me grab this real quick. I don't know why I'm putting these in order, but this makes sense to me. Like I was saying earlier about that lens flare. So this is what happens to. Where am I editing? Inspector. Let me come back out of this. So this was, I think, was in 5K. What is this? Yeah, Ultra 5K roughly. And you can see here. Let me turn this off. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. I want to show you this lens flare. That flare, that greenish flare there, definitely came from the mount, because the lens doesn't have a green flare. Somehow the light refracted really weirdly, because I did all the testing with these lenses and it doesn't have that particular flare. So it was definitely the mount. I'm like, oh, I love that. It's a happy accident for sure. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that. I bet my screen is way too small right now. So yeah, this one was a tough one because I don't have a behind the scenes shot of it readily right now. So basically this shot is, I have a 4x4 boomed on top, then I'm just shining one 120D with a reflector on it into it against this blue wall, and it's giving me a natural vignette. And what I noticed for some reason, I really couldn't get this. Maybe I was messing with the wrong settings, but see how kind of crisp this looks? Let me turn on all the grade. See how punchy and contrasty this looks? Like I really stretched it, right? And when you go to the next clip, like the white looks very soft to me, and I couldn't figure out why. Like looking at the log itself, I think either it had a smudge on there. Can I go side by side? Let's go side by side. Let's go. Wait, how do I? Oh, I don't even know how to do that. Anyway, can I do this? Nope. I don't know. What is it pulling? It's pulling from the gallery. Let's see this. So yeah, look kind of how this makes sense. Sorry guys, I'm a little all over the place. Pull this a little. Go back. I'm just looking at her skin tone versus, this is probably too small. Again, this is my first time doing a live like this, so still getting my bearings. Oh, no. Anyway, okay, I'm just kind of get back to here. So what I was trying to do, like, one, this is so much heavier than this. Like, this is a slightly different blue. I really couldn't accurately get it. Even if I saved this profile and applied it to this, it was vastly different. I couldn't figure out why. Maybe the light changed on set, because his light, obviously, sure, she has the hat, but like this part of her, anyway, I'm probably just reading too much into this. Anyway, I just think the white was a little tricky for me to kind of retain the detail without looking mushy or just too like muted. It still had to look and feel like it's white. So I don't know. I wasn't like in love with this. I think I just pushed it a little too hard. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? And I made sure like it was like kind of a fast thing. You saw it for a little bit, and then you went back to another clip. You saw it for a little bit, just to kind of hide. Like I wasn't like super proud of this way it looks like, where it turned out. But I am proud of how much detail I retained in the white. It did take me a little bit. So let's see. I did that. So that's the Dehancer. And I did quite a bit of tweaking with this actually. I was a log right out of camera, and then I went to this. I think that's more than just white balance. It looked like I exposure and did some other stuff. And the Dehancer profile. And I added my curves, and I was just getting a lot of magenta. So maybe I was getting more sunlight coming in here. I did have a block on that side. I blocked that side, so maybe that was it, maybe. In this shot, again, I had a 120D with the spotlight. Freaking love that tool. It's worth getting, but it's never in stock. And this was pretty straightforward. I was able to get contrast lows down and just make sure, you know, yeah, their skin looks similar because they're pretty close in skin complexion. I didn't care if this was like kind of crushed. I'm not crushing it. You can kind of see here, it's still a little bit of life. And then what I did in the edit, I did like a digital push and zoom with that too. So yeah, let me actually go back. I can't see the chat as I'm doing this, so I don't know did I miss anything? Cool. Love the look of this video. Great use of color. And a short shout out to the stylist. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to their stylist. Like, I believe it was a combination of them and their sister-in-law, SO's sister-in-law, who did the wardrobe and all that. Like, wow, it just tied in all that. And plus, again, with the pre-planning, if you watch the pre-production video, we definitely talked about different iconic images from movie scenes and stuff like that. So Love and Basketball, Bonnie and Clyde type thing, or Queen and Slim, as you saw in the references earlier. So yeah, definitely that's how I was kind of looking. Do you mess with your greens and purples on this video, or do you stick with the orange and blues? So Eric, I didn't really infuse a lot of other types of colors. I was allowing that film emulator to be the base of whatever I was doing, and then just boosted saturation or pulled out certain colors that I didn't like as much. As well as doing an overall contrast, and kind of just left it as is with that. So like, again, I'm not a professional. I'm learning how this tool works. Now in the next video, I'm going to be doing the next project that's going to be released. I did a little more like dialing in and being more specific with what my color and everything kind of looks like. So if you guys want to do another live stream like this and doing a breakdown of that, let me know. I'll definitely do it. Heck, I'll probably just do it anyway. But yeah, if you're worrying about greens and purples, like if I made sure my white balance was where I wanted it, so that kind of deals with greens, blues, and reds, and I kind of just get that to the level that I like, and then I kind of work from there, because it's easier to do that than to try to fix your white balance after you added all the grading stuff. Cool. Yes, we heard. What's up, D Kindness? Glad you're here. He pops more. Yeah, so in that shot, I definitely added a little bit more orange in his shirt to make it stand out more. Shot looks so cool. Could you extend the sides? What do you mean by extend the sides? You talking about this? You seeing the black bars here? No, I'm just going to stay like that. No, I'm playing. Not sure if I missed this because I'm watching this while in class, but do you use the film stock for the whole video or different film stocks? Oh, that's a great question. So throughout the whole video, I would use one film stock, because again, I want to be consistent, because each film stock has its own characteristic. So the skin tones will look different from each film stock as you go through. So I didn't want to have that hassle try to correct each skin or each color that doesn't look like the same color. It just be a jumbled mess. I definitely was testing out different film stocks to see what my taste likes, what my taste is. And so I landed on the, what did I land on? Let's see, let me make this widescreen. I landed on, what was my film? The Astrum Color Negative 125. So that's a film stack I used for the entire video because it looked the nicest as a base in my opinion. Here's the car scene, one of the shots from the car scene. This was handheld. Definitely, again, I'm gonna encourage you, watch the production video because it was a fun way of how I captured this shot. I'm really glad how it turned out. But Eric, to your question about manipulating colors and stuff, a lot of it again was from how I handle white balance. So I wanted to cool off a lot of the videos first because I knew naturally this film stock profile was more warm, but it still retained, well, I kind of kept it, in this case, more blue. It's fine. It was a creative choice, right? I tweaked it how I wanted it, added saturation, still a little more blue and stuff, and then some contrast, and bang, man, I really put the contrast in this. I was making sure I had my contrast. I wanted to stretch that image as much as possible. Let's see, I got a lot going on here. Can we make that zoomed in more? And you can kind of see how the grain looks. So yeah, let me see, let me go back real quick. Yeah. Yep. Well, I think that's all I have to kind of talk about. Definitely check out Dehancer, but wait to purchase it until I get the promo code. Make sure you're following me on Joshua Martin Studios on Instagram. You can see that in my handle right here, where it says AKA Rig Daddy. That's me. Follow me because I will post out on my stories and on Twitter the discount code that Dehancer is going to give me for you all to purchase, because again, it's a really great program. You can do a lot of powerful things, make your footage look really unique. I love the film style. Film is really film is what I really go after, and I'm actually shooting film, digital film. I'm shooting film right now with my little point and shoot that I have, so I'm getting the whole full circle of it. Now, film convert nitrate versus Dehancer. I have film convert nitrate, and I'll tell you right now that Dehancer is more powerful than film convert. And I like film convert. It does do things on the fly pretty easily, but the workflow for it, I don't like. Catch my breath. I don't like in particular the workflow of film convert. I have it for Final Cut Pro, and I just find it is a bit too aggressive. What I like about Dehancer is that it's massaging your footage. It doesn't just like flat on put on something and then you have to kind of work backwards to kind of scale down what it is. That's how some people like to work. I like seeing, okay, I like building up subtlety for my own taste rather than going from super extreme and pull it back. I want to see what each slider does. I want to see what each of these tools look like. And so Dehancer does that methodically for me as I'm building out the grade that I want. So, yeah. Any alternatives for Final Cut Pro? That's funny enough. Yeah, Film Convert is the alternative for Dehancer. But I would just probably wait. If you can't wait, definitely get that. That's definitely an alternative. It is a good way to use Film Convert to understand some of the language when you get into Dehancer. But I will prefer Dehancer because, again, it massages your footage and you can build upon it that way. And I like, again, using it in Davinci Resolve more because you have way more control of what with your node, so you can build things on top of that. It's hard to do that in any other program like what's I'm gonna call it, Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro. You don't have nodes, so I would highly recommend downloading the free version of Davinci Resolve just to kind of get an understanding. This wasn't a tutorial on Davinci Resolve. This is kind of like my thought process and how I like the color using Dehancer and stuff like that. But yeah, the red halation though. yeah, I'm going to try to test out some of the new profiles for the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro and shoot some cine still footage. I'm very excited for that because I love the way cine still looks. So I'm gonna go out at night and go film some clips. That's definitely I should do that. I need to do that. I think if your camera profile is available in Dehancer, is a really good program to have, speed up your color grading process. Yeah, and again, a lot of you guys might not even have. Well, a few of you guys have Zcam, and so that if I need to go over how I used it with the Zcam, let me know. But again, I just left it as a log profile, and I just jumped right into Arri Log C as a profile. You can do the Rec 709 conversion and then just input Rec 709 as a profile when you add the plugin. But they are bringing more cameras to this program. Zcam is going to be coming up, Zlog 2 that is, and then of course they just added Blackmagic. So, but yeah, I totally agree with Jeff what he just said there. Yo, if there's no more questions, or if you guys have any more questions, let me know. I'll hang on for a little bit more before I wrap up. I was only going to stay here for an hour because I need to get some sleep. As you can see, my eyes are like blah. But yeah, as I'm learning, I'm gonna be doing more deep dives and a little bit more of my grading when I get better at it, because the more I do these things, the better I get at. So I'll definitely take you guys on that journey. I can give you a sneak peek of what. Should I give you a sneak peek? I don't know. Should I do it? Yeah, why not? Let's just switch profiles real quick. I saw a question. Have you checked out the rack production film simulation? No, I have not, and I will after this. I'll definitely check that out. All right, real quick, here's a sneak peek of the next the next project I'm working on, the next music video. And one of my favorite shots is this shot here. Okay, I don't want to play any music, so I'm gonna blast my ears off. This is what I shot with a vertical anamorphic. And again, I made a video about that on my channel too. It's basically taking the Helios 44-2 as my taking lens. And then I had, if you know Tito from Anamorphic on a Budget, his channel, he sent me his Isorama 36 rehoused Anamorphic 1.4 lens. And I just twisted it sideways so the flares aren't horizontal, they're vertical. And basically this is one of the shots. This whole music video is going to be shot in square. And this is probably one of my favorite grades and shots of this. And this was Fuji Color 200, I believe. So I'm keeping this a little bit more airy, a little bit more light, embracing a lot of the imperfections in this lens. But man, look how, and I wanted to shoot a square and open gate because the Helios plus the anamorphic, you know, that characteristic of the lens is that swirl background. And so the anamorphic lens is kind of just compresses more of that into the frame to get this really dreamy, surreal, like swirl. Like when she comes into frame, right, she's the only one that's kind of not distorted. Everything else is just like this swirl. And I love that feel and that movement out of that lens. So yeah, okay, that's all I'm gonna show you guys, because that'll be in the next breakdown. Let me know. Should I do a production breakdown like what I did for SO with Kind of Love, or should I do a production breakdown that's live? What do you think? I'm still thinking about it, because it takes me more hours to do a long form YouTube video like that. It takes me almost like 8 to 12 hours to do, because I got to shoot it, gather the footage, and then edit it and all that stuff. This, I can just sit here, just ramble for forever. But I'm trying to get better at like my rambling so I can make more concise thoughts and explanations and stuff. But would you guys rather see a production breakdown live stream, or like traditional video where you can kind of go back. This is going to go back up on my YouTube channel, so you can watch it again and again. So cool. I got 1 vote for live. But yeah, let's see. Okay, let's see. I got a few more questions and I'm gonna wrap this up. It's quite a complicated workflow, to be honest, but it looks legit. Yeah, I mean, it can get complicated. I mean, it's complicated once you don't, once you have to kind of sit and fiddle with whatever camera profile you have if they don't have it. That's where the workflow kind of has to, you kind of have to build it out yourself. So for me, log, and then directly to how I want to put up my nodes. So you can simplify as much as you can, but I appreciate you being honest with there. And again, if I was rambling, I can try to clarify it in the comments later, or just hit me up in the DMs. Thank you for sharing your process. Much respect, Shooter. Appreciate you watching, man. I appreciate you guys' input here. Davinci Resolve, the free version is free. The full program, the full studio is $300. It's worth the investment. You get the free upgrade every year after that. So I do not use Premiere Pro. Oh, I should put up. I forgot. I can show you guys this questions up on here. Duh. Question is Premiere Pro or Davinci Resolve, which do you use most? I don't use Premiere Pro at all. It is a headache for me. I use Final Cut Pro and Davinci Resolve. So all of my YouTube content for like fast outputs, turnarounds, I use Final Cut Pro, and I'll do some heavy stuff in that too. But my legit side projects or like projects that I need a lot of powerful tools in, I use Davinci Resolve. That is my go-to program. I can't stand Premiere Pro. A lot of my team members use Premiere Pro, but I never could get with it. I like, let's see, here's another question. I see you shoot handheld a lot. When I try, it's so shaky, bro. Handheld is it's a very, I guess it's a sought after look because we want to chase the organic feeling. And I think handheld has its place. Not all of my footage is handheld. I tripod shots, gimbal shots. It's whatever the shot or whatever the story is needing. So yeah, handheld, I can definitely make a video about some of the things I know how to get stable handheld footage. Is definitely using your whole body as the stabilizer and then having enough weight in your camera so to take out all the extra jitters. And the biggest thing is being deliberate. You have to be intentional of how you are holding the camera. Handheld is not about, oh, it's floaty and stuff like that and whatnot. Be intentional about the movements. Sometimes if you're swaying too much way back and forth, it's like, hey, why is the camera swaying back and forth? What is the purpose of that? Those are some of the things I've learned. So it's more of like, it's kind of a mental thing as well as how you physically handle the camera and handheld. Yeah, I can get to the whole thing with this thing. I'm not like a pro at it, but I've learned a lot of how what certain handheld looks, how that looks good and how it doesn't look good. I could definitely point that out. So I got you, Dimitri. Long form is pretty dope. Appreciate that. Yeah, long form is I kind of like live. It's just I can react to things happening as you guys are asking. So yeah, I'm talking about Rack Productions Films emulation. It has a complicated workflow and it's free. Oh. Okay, I still have to check that out. I don't know what Rack is at all, so definitely gonna check that out, bro. All right, so it says, all right, bro, give me a game plan of how I can shoot similar stuff like content-wise. How can I let me put this up on screen. How can I get out of my head like I see so vividly how I want it to look, but my skills don't match? You are talking about the creative gap. My boy Omar and I had this conversation all the time. How do we reach our taste versus what our skill level can do? And really, in a broad sense, is that you keep working, keep practicing, because each time you do something, each time you do a project, each time you do a new skill, you shoot with your camera, whatever you do that's associated to how you want that end product to look, you start to close that gap. And to be honest, that gap, you should always have a bit of space in that gap, because you're always going to be growing. You're always going to be progressing. If you reach your milestone, then, you know, you're saying you're done. You don't have no more to learn. But anyway, to really practically start closing that gap, one is practice. So in your free time or whatever time you have, try to make small projects. What I like to do a lot is what I used to do a lot, is just take out my camera and go film around my area or go travel somewhere. And that way I can just be with my camera and learn it, right? That's really what you have to learn, your tool, to understand how it can get you to the place you want to be. So once you start doing that, and doing that as a practice, you can take that footage, sit down, edit something for your own taste, get the music that you want, edit something just for you. That's all you have to do. So I used to do a lot of these things called observations, and they're just me taking my camera out with the lens, with a particular lens or particular color grade that I want to test out or try or workflow, whatever. I just set myself, I'll just set these goals for myself to try to tackle and get better at. And the more I did that, then when I did jobs that would pay me or jobs that are higher end, I had those skills in my bag already, so I can more effectively communicate what that idea is, or help communicate what that idea is for that client. I hope that makes sense. This is right here. This is a whole topic we can talk about, but it's definitely putting in the time, putting in the practice. It's good to have that where I want to be, because I still have that goal. I want to make a film. I still have a lot of things to learn. So what am I doing in between that time of me getting to that point? Am I practicing blocking? Am I practicing working with actors? Am I practicing directing skills? Am I doing all those things to even get me to that point? Because you can't just jump the gap to get to the end without having those skills and those struggles and those downfalls. So probably not the answer you want, but that's the answer that I've learned over my years of doing stuff and trying to get to this point. And it was a blessing to work with SO. With SO, this was the highest level music video content I've ever made. And he's happy with it. I'm happy with it. And we're just going to just do more after that. So I've learned so much from this project that I'm going to apply to every other project afterwards. So, bro, yeah, hit me up. I think you have hit me up, and I do apologize for those who hit me up in the DMs. Sometimes it goes right to my request, so I had to kind of go into there and answer the nonsense, and then find the people who are answering. But definitely keep asking questions. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Yeah, but I appreciate that question. I totally get where you're coming from, bro. I totally get it. Cool. Have you ever used vintage glass on the F6? I bought a set of vintage Canon FDs, loving it so far. Yes, I have. Well, the only vintage lens I have is the Helios, and I was just showing. Oh, I guess you missed it, Trey. But I was showing the next project I'll be doing. I shot a whole music video with this lens and an anamorphic adapter in front of it. And then really all of these microprimes, I like to consider these a vintage modern look. So you're going to have some chromatic aberration. You're going to have some lens breathing. You're going to have this thing blooms like crazy when the light hits it. You're going to have this unique flare. So this has all the vintage characteristics in a modern housed body. And these are SLR Magic microprimes. Been using them for years. Those are my boys out there. Shout out to you, Andrew. Love you, bro. Yeah, definitely a lens that I tend to use. I'm looking at some Nikkor sets next. Definitely want to try those. I just picked up some Carl Zeiss Distagon lenses, the contact lenses, the incredible contrast. Yeah, so I have some lenses here. I'm so behind on doing lens testing, but maybe I should do a live lens test. That would be insane. That would be a lot. Cool. Thanks for the question. LOL, my Milano looks super good, but my end product is not even close. Oh, I'm glad you're using Milano. I love Milano. I keep saying that. An awesome answer. Yes, so this live stream will be saved, so you can definitely watch it afterwards. I'm gonna rewatch it too, so I can learn how to cut down my nonsense a little bit to be a little bit more precise. And guys, I've been doing this without a script, so forgive me for my rambling. Cool. I'm building a Nikkor set slowly. Currently have the 35F2 to 22.8. They're awesome. That is great. Nikkor is a sleeper. Not a lot of people talk about Nikkor. It's always been, Canon FD or the Carl Zeiss contact lenses or the Leica R lenses. That's the next set I definitely want to get. My boy Cody, he's up in not Cody Wells, he's my business partner, but another Cody, he's up in Detroit. He has a set that I can probably borrow, get my hands on. Definitely want to get into that. There was something else I was about to say. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Dang, that was gonna be good too. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Cool. Well, guys, it is It's going on 11 o'clock. I could sit here and just keep talking, but I'll set up another live. I do have some other stuff to talk about. I think I'm gonna start converting all of my video ideas from my channel into just live streams, because that's probably the best way for me to get content out due to the time that I have. Not the answer I wanted, but definitely the answer I needed. Yeah, man, it's a struggle, but it's a struggle we all have to go through. Definitely. Gotta snap something before they get, and definitely these, that's the whole thing with vintage lenses. Once they get popular, prices go up. Cool. All right, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm just lingering, and I want to stay on a little bit longer, but I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for chiming in. This video will go live right after this ends, and let me actually show my face, my whole me mug. I'm doing this all with this manual lenses, so I do not have autofocus. I'm trying to keep my distance here. Those who are just now jumping in, I'm so sorry. It's been an hour. But I'll catch you guys on the next live. I'll announce it. Make sure to follow my Instagram and everything. Sorry, I just saw a question come up here. Wait, one thing, give me project to shoot like you talked about. Wait, rephrase that question real quick. Are you saying to give you a project so you can work on? I don't know. I'll follow up that comment later. Okay, yeah, I'm going. Good night. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Bye. Sayonara. I need to have an ending jingle to go. Dimitri, DM me. I'll give you some ideas to kind of start shooting some stuff. All right. Okay. Bye. I'm gone. See y'all.